Good morning, Pioneers. My name is Connor Morrison.
And my name is Justice Gullivan. Welcome to the Grit.
Let's start with a recap of this week's sports. Both boys and girls basketball played Hilliard-Bradley on Tuesday. The boys came out on top by a score of 52-50, thanks to Devin Brown hitting 2 clutch free throws. The girls were also able to win by a score of 48-27. Congrats to both teams.
Gymnastics also compete at the Dublin Coffin at 7. The girls wrestling team will host their Pioneer Classic this weekend. Make sure to show up and support the girls.
Coming up this
weekend, the Orange hockey team will be competing in the Pioneer Classic tournament. All 3 teams will be competing in the tournament this weekend. Now here's the Juice's Kellen with more details on the tournament.
Hey Pioneers, the Hockey Pioneer Classics this weekend. Let's take a look.
The Pioneer Classic will take place this weekend at Chiller North. 30 teams from Central Ohio will play 60 games total throughout the weekend. Here's the schedule for the Pioneers. Prep will start on Friday with a game at 4 o'clock against Northeast Storm, followed by JV playing Newark Generals at 5:45 and Varsity against Perrysburg at 7:30. On Saturday, all teams play 2 games. Prep will start against Mentor JV at 7:40 a.m., followed by JV against Perrysburg at 9:15 a.m., and then Varsity against Canton Akron Jets at 11 a.m. Then for the afternoon games, Prep will play CIHC at 4:15, followed by JV against Canton Akron at 6, and Varsity against Miami at 7:45. On Sunday, all teams have a game that will be determined once the Saturday games are played out. Stay tuned to the Orange Hockey Instagram for those game times to be posted. Ticket prices will cost $5 for one day or $10 for the entire weekend.
That's all for today, Pioneers. Now back to the desk.
Thanks, Kellen. This weekend for the boys basketball team has a doubleheader, tonight and tomorrow. Tonight, the boys will travel to Thomas Worthington, and on Saturday, the boys will take on Grove City at home. Make sure to support the boys this weekend.
Boys wrestling won their OCC matchup 42-24 against Hilliard-Davidson last night. Tyler Del Rocco, Joseph LaRosa, Dom Lee, Simon Waring, Andy Val, Jacob Slack, and Gavin Gaylor all had pins. Tomorrow, boys wrestling will head to the Licking Heights Invitational. Good luck, boys. The NFL playoff was last week. Now here's Ava with a recap on the NFL playoff.
Hi, today we're going to be taking a closer look at the NFL playoffs.
I gotta say, it was a glorious win this Sunday against the Miami Dolphins. Let's go Bills. What a way to win. What a way to seal the deal in the playoffs. Number 2, I believe now. I'm very excited. I got us going all the flipping way against the 49ers to the Super Bowl. Bills Mafia, out.
So as far as, the 49ers being in the playoffs, I think, with injuries and everything, we're available. Brock Purdy's doing his thing on offense. I think with, everything, players could do a little better, especially with Brandon Ayuk getting catches, Christian McCaffrey being in the backfield. I think there should be a little bit more of him getting the ball, more as throwing. But as far as playoff-wise, I think we're going to be doing pretty good.
Okay, so for the NFL playoffs, obviously I'm going to be rooting for the Steelers. I think we can beat the Buffalo Bills, but we probably won't get much farther than that. So if I had to make a pick for the Super Bowl champion, it's going to be the 49ers.
I feel like the 49ers and the Ravens are going to make it to the Super Bowl, and the Ravens will most likely come out on top 41-37. That's my score prediction.
Thanks for watching. Now back to the desk.
Thanks, Ava. Now, with the NFL playoffs starting this week, we've got a little bit of a different segment.
All right, so the way this is going to work, we have the whole playoffs right here, and we are going to pick our games for the whole playoff. This is our predictions, all right? So to start off, Connor, we have the Cleveland Browns versus the Houston Texans. I'm going to take the Cleveland Browns here. They have looked absolutely lethal. Joe Flacco, we all know how he plays in the playoffs, and I think this is going to be a close game, but I do see Cleveland Browns taking the victory.
Yeah, I'm hoping the Browns can take the victory as well. I mean, obviously, I'm a Browns fan, so that's what I'm going to root for. Myself and Mr. Doherty, some of the biggest Browns fans that I know. So we'll take the Browns for this pick. I think that Houston's got a lot of really young players, but it's kind of veteran versus young players in this game, and I think that the veterans will probably prevail.
All right, then next up, we have one that I am extremely excited for, a rematch of earlier in the year that actually was played in Germany, the first game ever played in Germany for the NFL. We have the Miami Dolphins versus the Kansas City Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes versus Tua Tagovailoa. I'm taking the Dolphins. Much better team. Tyreek Hill is returned to Kansas City after being traded 2 years ago. I think that he has a great game. I think the Chiefs have just looked really weak. So I'm taking the Dolphins here by not particularly close. I think that they move on in the next round.
That's definitely probably the opposite of what I would think, especially with the weather conditions that we've seen in Kansas City recently. It's going to be negative temperatures for this game. It'll be a run-heavy game, so I don't think there's going to be a lot of passing to people like Tyreek or any of the Chiefs receivers. And I think that with the Dolphins playing in Miami in such warmer conditions all the time, I think that when it's this cold that the Chiefs are just going to be more acclimated to the weather.
All right, then we'll take – who do you want to take? We'll take the Chiefs.
We'll take the Chiefs.
We'll take the Chiefs. Then we got a game that no one cares about. This game is going to be a demolition. The Steelers are terrible. They should not even be in here. This is a disgrace to football that they even made the playoffs. Buffalo Bills all the way. This is not even going to be a competition. Josh Allen led his team from 6-6 all the way to 11-6 to end the year. Just a great team. Probably one of the best teams in football right now, if not the best. And so I'm going to take them pretty easily.
Yeah, I'm also going to agree. Like Justice said, it's going to be probably not even close. I'm not sure how the Steelers snuck into the playoffs this year like they do every year. This Buffalo Bills team has just been rolling the past couple weeks. They've crushed some of their opponents when at home. So I think the home atmosphere is just going to be able to really push the Buffalo Bills onto the second round.
All right, then, so in the second round of the AFC, we have the Browns and the Ravens. I think if it's this scenario, the Ravens are the best team in the NFL right now. They are on fire. They only lost to the Steelers because all their backups were in. And this is my team, so I may be a little biased. But Lamar Jackson's winning the MVP this year, most likely. And last time the Browns won, but it was on a close game. But I think the way the Ravens are playing, beating the 49ers, beating the Dolphins pretty handily back-to-back weeks, I just do not see I think it'll be a decent game, but I do not think the Browns will be able to hold on for 4 quarters to the Ravens, especially with how good the Ravens have been in the second half.
Yeah, and obviously as a Browns fan, I'm going to hope that the Browns win. But if we're going to keep this realistic, I think that the Ravens are probably going to take this. They've just, ever since that loss to the Browns in the middle of the season, they've been playing almost perfect football. They've blown out so many opponents like the Dolphins or San Francisco 49ers, where games have been expected to be close, and they just haven't been. The Ravens have played super well. So I think I'd take the Ravens for that matchup as well.
Okay, then the final game of the AFC before the AFC Championship. A rematch of one of the greatest NFL games ever played. That AFC Championship 2 years ago, it was a great game. Amazing game. Came down to the last 13 seconds. Patrick Mahomes' team. But I think this is the Bills' game to revenge. And I think that they are going to go out there and they're going to destroy the Chiefs. Especially because no matter where they're playing, it's going to be cold. And the Bills are from Buffalo, much colder than Kansas City, Missouri. So I'm going to take the Bills here pretty handily. They're going to move on to the AFC Championship.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Bills as well. Obviously, you talked about it's a rematch from that playoff game 2 years ago. That's probably one of my favorite NFL games ever. But this is a different Kansas City Chiefs team. They don't have Tyreek Hill. They don't have all of their stars. The receivers have been very lackluster this year. Their defense is actually the highlight of their team instead of the offense, which is something we haven't seen in a while with the Chiefs. So I think that the Bills are going to keep their momentum and be able to go to the wild card, the last round.
And then this match, I'm going to take the Ravens. I think that this game will be a showdown. We're talking, 1 point, 2 point victories. But when you really look at it, the Ravens defense was able to beat some teams that the Buffalo Bills were unable to this year. The Bills have struggled a lot more than the Ravens. The Ravens have had probably only a couple games that have been close. The Bills have definitely shown a lot more weakness. I think this is going to come down to who's the more gritty team. And this year, the Ravens is that team. I think that they're going to be going to the Super Bowl. And that's just, I know I may be a little biased, but that's just my feeling.
Yeah, this is a really tough decision for me. Obviously, both of these teams have been playing really complete football on both sides the last few weeks of the NFL season. It's going to be a really close matchup, like you said, probably the best playoff game that we'll see if it comes down to the Bills and the Ravens. But I think I will probably go the Ravens as well. I mean, they're just too good of a team. They really have minimized their mistakes in recent games, so I'll take the Baltimore Ravens.
All right, moving over to the NFC side. We got the Philadelphia Eagles and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. My dad's a big Buccaneers fan, so I'm going to have to take him. Eagles have lost 5 of their last 6 games. The Buccaneers went from 7-8 to 9-8, so they're on a 2-game win streak. Baker Mayfield's been playing the best football of his life, and I have a gut feeling the Buccaneers are going to pull off this upset.
Yeah, the Ravens, they're 1-4 in their past 5 games. They've really looked very fraudulent at the back end of the season. I think this game is going to be really close, and personally, I would have taken the Eagles. However, you went with my pick earlier, so I'm good with taking the Tampa Bay Buccaneers here.
Okay, then we got probably the game I'm most excited for in the wild card round. We have the Los Angeles Rams versus Jared Goff. And for anyone that knows, the two quarterbacks were traded for each other just a couple years ago. So this is going to be a revenge game for whoever wins, and I'm very excited for it. I'm going to take the upset. I'm going to take the Rams. Puka Nacua is the all-time receiving leader. He is, for rookies, he has been absolutely elite this year. Kyron Williams, another great fifth-round pick that is second in the league in rushing yards. I'm taking the Rams. I think it's going to be a showdown, one of the best games that we'll ever see. But I do think that the Rams will be able to come out on top.
Yeah, the storylines here are great, but I just think that the Rams offense has been just so good in the back half of the NFL season. They can keep up with almost anybody, and the Detroit defense has just not been very good as well as the Rams defense. And I think that this game is going to be a shootout for sure, but I think that the Rams look better on offense than the Lions do.
Then the final game that we have in the wild card of the NFC, we have the Packers versus the Cowboys. And I was thinking about this. We all know the Cowboys like to choke a lot. But I do not think that they choked first round, especially against a team like the Packers. They're young. Jordan Love has no experience playing in the playoffs at all. Their receiving core is mediocre. The running backs are not great for the Packers either. I want the Packers to win, but my heart's telling me and my brain's telling me to go with the Cowboys here. And not particularly close. They probably looked like the second best team in football the past couple of weeks. So I'm going to say the Cowboys.
Yeah, the Cowboys have been able to beat some big opponents in the final couple weeks of the season, and I just don't think that, this Green Bay team, like you said, is very young, so I'm going to take the Cowboys as well. Not a whole lot to say about this matchup.
Then we get to the final divisional round, right for the NFC Championship, and I'm taking the 49ers, the second best team in football, most likely, by most people's opinions. I think that they were able to almost beat the Rams in the Week 18, just last week, with their backups in. And with their starters in, Rams stand no chance. They, one win is good for them. They were not meant to make the playoffs this year, but they were able to do that. Congratulations to them, but sorry, you're losing the 49ers.
Yeah, I think I'm going to take the 49ers too. They also have just looked really good on both sides. They've got a whole lot of stars on offense, and they're around their QB, Brock Purdy. So I think that this defense is just going to be able to shut the Rams down, so that this game probably won't be as close as a lot of people like it to be in the divisional round.
The final game, it's hard for me to say, but Cowboys are winning this game. Buccaneers just not that great of a team. They're in the worst division of football. That's why they were able to make the playoffs. My dad won't be happy that I said that, but I got to go with the Cowboys here, and not particularly close. And they're going to move on pretty easily, I think.
Yeah, I'm also going to take the Cowboys. The Bucs are a good team. I think they'll be able to beat. I think they have a chance of beating Philadelphia. However, their team just doesn't look amazing on either side of offense or defense. They're okay at best. So I think that the Dallas will just be able to probably breeze past the Buccaneers, unfortunately.
Then the final game before the Super Bowl to decide who's going to play the Ravens in our pick'ems. It's a tough game, but most people don't know, these teams played earlier in the year, and it was not particularly close, 42-17 actually, with the 49ers came out top, and I think it's going to be the same thing. I think the 49ers are too depth-filled. They're too good of a team overall. Cowboys are not very good in the playoffs. I'm taking the 49ers.
Yeah, I'll take the 49ers as well. Like you said, they played earlier this season, and I just think that the outcome probably won't be too different. Maybe the game will be a little closer just because of, that playoff environment. But I'll take the 49ers as well.
Then we have the Super Bowl. This is what many people think it's going to be, according to the Super Bowl logo. I'm not going to spend any more time on it. I'm taking the Baltimore Ravens. We saw this game at Christmas. It made my Christmas special, and I hope that it makes my February 14th, or whatever day the Super Bowl is, special as well, and I believe it will. I'm taking the Ravens here, and I think that they're going to be the Super Bowl champions.
Yeah, I think I'll have to take the Ravens here too as well. I'm not a big fan of the Ravens winning the Super Bowl as a Browns fan, but I think, like you said, they played this game earlier this year, and it wasn't extremely close. I think this game will be pretty close. It'll come down to the wire for sure, but I just think that, like we've said earlier, the Baltimore Ravens have played really complete football the past couple weeks.
All right, so there you go. That is our pick'ems, and that's all we have for today, Pioneers.
Thank you for tuning in to The Grit, and we'll see you next week.